So I remember when we was in Egypt, we used to there was Sheikh Rida in the masjid. We used to go there because of the way he recites Quran. We used to love it, and we'd want the prayer to last longer because it was such like a soothing, nice sound, like the tajweed, everything. So I just fell in love with it, bro. Like I loved it, and I just wanted to learn. Like the Arabic classes, I remember I never found them as fun, but it was a necessity. But the Quran classes, I was just like I was looking forward to them. And what's crazy is 10 years later, I went to Kuwait to study, and I remember I was on a TV show in Kuwait, and they're asking me what made me come here, and I said, to be fair, like I found myself like just losing direction, and like I just wanted to like get back to like the basics and come and just isolate myself. So I done like a quarantine in Kuwait for like 6 months straight. Only left my house to go to this class, and then they were interviewing me, and they were saying, wow, this guy's from the UK, you do like in the film industry, you're doing this, you're doing that, but you've decided to come here just to learn Quran. Like, and they were like quite shocked about that. They didn't get it. And then they said, yeah, can you tell us some of the, can you tell us some of the reciters that you love the most? And I said, Mashari Rashid Alafasy. I told them the story about when I was young and I first heard him. And they were said, he's Kuwaiti, right? He's based here. So I said, I didn't know that. And they said, yeah, he's based here and da-da-da-da. Maybe you'll hear him when you go to the masjid, like the Grand Mosque. So I was like, huh? So I remember going, I said, I need to go to this masjid. So I've gone in there a few days later, and it was Taraweh. And I was thinking, I wonder if it's going to be, and when you just say that stole, I was just like, nah, bro, I'm not even going to lie. You see hearing once he started, I just felt it like, this is the guy that I used to listen to from 2002, and it just brought it back for me. I was just like, oh my days. But I didn't go to meet him. I just enjoyed my Taraweh, went home, but I was just like, wow. Then the next day, someone said, Mashari Rashid just put you on his Facebook. And I was like, huh? And he listened to the TV interview, and he put it on his Facebook saying a guy came from London to learn Quran, and he was inspired by listening to Mashari Rashid as a youngster, and he put a post about it on his Facebook. So I said, wow. Then my phone rang. And brother said, hey, the Sheikh Mashari Rashid wants to meet you. He's asking, can anyone get hold of you while you're here? So I said, yeah. And I went and met him.
No way.
Yeah, I went and met him, and we was chilling. He invited me to his place, and we're eating food on the floor. And then he showed me his studio where he makes nasheeds. I'm saying, listen, I don't even want to hear the nasheeds. I want to hear that Quran. That's what my heart's at. So it's a beautiful experience, bro. Yeah, it was a nice experience. Wow. But I've always had that little thing, but sometimes you lose it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you lose it. This is the reality. And I remember reciting surahs in the Quran in prayer and forgetting surahs that I know so well, and mixing up one surah with another surah, inna alladhina amanu, and then I'm going into something else, and I'm thinking subhanallah, 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 and just Allahu Akbar, going into raku, and just thinking and this is what the dunya does. When you're too busy and you're out there and you're chasing this and you're chasing that, it's you'll lose these ayahs, you forget things. And these times now, when you're in isolation, it brings it back down to earth. I need to get back into that. Now we got the time. Before we had the excuse we ain't got time, and this is just the reality, innit? I just speak how it is from the heart. It's a time now where I can appreciate this time. I don't even look at any of the hardship. I just look at the benefits from this and say, boy, Allah, you ask for time. Allah's giving you time to go back and rebuild. So this is a time to rebuild. I can go back through those surahs and rememorize them and understand and start reading. We got Ramadan coming. It's everyone, I'm gonna miss Taraweh, or what about this, and the iftars, and then sometimes it's so busy again in just enjoying the month and meeting up with people and eating and spending time. Man. You lose that now you got time to just sit down, just read the Quran, just sit. It's like when I done itikaf, bro. The first time I done itikaf, it was mad. knee deep in the studio. We had our group SMS, and I remember people knew we were Muslim. We were known in South London, and everyone used to like speak bad, like, music's haram. Why are you not doing that? You not got your studio guy, and like, you know, like so much bad to say. But we're just young boys coming, like we just took our shahada not long, and it's like we were very ignorant. Like no one can't really tell us. We know it. We know what's right and wrong, but don't tell us to stop. That was the attitude. Don't tell me to stop. Like I'll stop when I'm ready to stop. This is my, and it's like everyone just wanted to come and like throw this at man, throw it at man, and then I was rejecting the dawah. I was rejecting it. Like it's just bouncing off me. Like I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And this is what I have to understand. Like you can't just tell people do this, don't do that, don't do this. Like some of us, it's in our nature to just like you make us not want to hear it. And then the imam in the masjid, what I loved about him, our local masjid, South London Islamic Centre, he knew I was a rapper. He knew what we was about. He knew how he was. But every time I went in there, he'd be like, brother Muslim Belal, how are you today? Have you eaten? Come in the office. And he made me feel so welcome. And sometimes you used to think you didn't want to go because you felt like people were looking down on you. But he gave me this welcoming, like this warm comfort. And he said, what are you doing after Salah? I'm thinking, I got to go and do this, I got to do that. He's like, come and sit. We're doing a little talk after. It'll be nice. It'll be nice to have you. So I was like, all right. And his sons used to like be like, yeah. Muslim Belal. He's like, my sons love you. And when the dad's not looking, they was always like, do a rap. And I'll be like, shh, I'm not doing no rap, man. Recite Quran. I want to hear some Quran. If you do something, I say, they go, all right, if we do Quran, you do a rap after. I'll be like, all right, deal. You go first. But like, I remember staying, and after the talk, they started saying, right, who's going to go for 40 days? Who's going to go for 60 days? And people putting up their hands. I said, what's going on here? Like, I'm trying to make an escape, but they're like, they've got this notepad, and they're like, brother, how long are you going to come for? I was like, I don't know. I can't really go anywhere for 40 days. Like I got my. They're like, don't worry about your job. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. So they're like tabligh Jamaat. Like they go out. Okay. So I was thinking, I didn't know what these things was. So I was like, I need to I can't. And then the Imam said, Muslim Belal, why don't you do 10 days? So I was like, yeah. Okay, I'll do 10 days. But I still didn't know what I was committing to. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll do 10 days. I felt a bit under pressure, I'll be honest. And then he told me, he come up to me after and he said, you see your 10 days, you can do it at the end of Ramadan. Like come to the mosque, spend your last 10 days in the mosque. It's called itikaf. So I said, okay, yeah, I can do that. Like Ramadan, I want to, yeah, I'll do that. So he said, so come here from Maghrib and the last 10 days you spend here in the mosque. I said, all right, I'll do that. So I remember I went there on the Maghrib for and I just came just like as I am. And he said, where's your like bag, your sleeping bags, your stuff? And I was like, I didn't bring anything, but I'll just leave and go shop every day. And he said, no, you can't. This is itikaf. You've got to stay in the masjid. You can't leave. I said, what? I can't even leave to go to the shop or anything. He said, no. So I said, wow. So I've contacted my mum. I said, Mum, you need to bring quilts, food, snacks, everything to the mosque. I'm not allowed to leave for the next 10 days. So she said, okay, she comes. So I got my stuff. But those 10 days when I stayed in the mosque, I remember it's like, it's real isolation. Yeah. It's like, there's nothing going on. Like, there was like 10 of us, and a lot of them were elderly men. I was like, a lot of them was mainly like from Pakistan, and there was one old Somali man there. And even like when I tried to talk to like in the day to like one brother's son who came, they'll be like, no speaking, it's itikaf, no speaking, read Quran or pray. So I was like, right, this is hard. But reading, didn't want to talk in case they saw me, didn't want to like do anything, didn't want to check my phone. But those 10 days was so beneficial for me that when you come out of that isolation, and I remember I got picked up. And when I got picked up, they're driving me home and they've got the music on the radio. It just sounded too loud. It was like too much gas. I was like, all right, turn that down, turn that off. It's like my heart was just rejecting it. It's like it was too much for me. It sounded too foul. And it's like, do you know where I've just been? I've just been in the mosque for 10 days in peace. And now I'm hearing all of this. It's not sitting well in my heart. And it's like, that was the stage. I remember my brothers in SMS was like, you seem different. Like, you're not gonna come back on this music, are you? And I was just like, bro, I don't know if I can. Like, I just don't feel the same about it. Like, we had a performance coming up, and it's like I couldn't see myself. Like it just didn't feel right. So they was like, no, we hear you, man, respect. And they got the same love for the dean as well, so they had a lot of respect, and it was cool. But it's like that natural, organic feeling, what I got from doing the itikaf was more powerful than anyone that was for months trying to tell me, stop this, stop that, stop this. It's got to come from within. Like, it's got to be within, and that's when it can last and stay, because it's not just through force or through someone telling you, or you feeling the fear or the judgment from the people around you. It's got to be from within. It's got to be real. Everything we do has to be real and come from within. So yeah, that was that's what that itikaf, that isolation done for me then. And I'm just trying to reflect now in this situation, this pandemic, epidemic that the whole world is going through. Like, how can we take advantage of this? You know, like in the hadith, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, take advantage of 5 before 5. And it's like your health before you become sick, your youth before you become old, your life before it passes and you die, your wealth before you become poor, and your free time before you become busy. This is our free time now. How are we going to take advantage of that free time? Wow. Like, how are we going to take, like, how, before we become busy again? And this is exactly what we need to do now. Take advantage of this free time. So I'm trying to, like, I need to rebuild, man. This is destroy and rebuild time, definitely.